各位同事，
Members, it's the appointed time. We have a quorum. I call to order the meeting. Agenda item number 1. Information papers issued since last meeting. Mr. Dennis Leung, Mr. Lok Chung Hong, Mr. Kingsley Wong sent a letter dated the 5th of July 2024. CB brackets 2 100/2024 brackets 01. The Secretariat has already circulated the letter to the CMAB and requested that the Bureau provide a written reply. We are still waiting for the reply from the administration. Members, please note the letter. Agenda item number 2. Items for discussion at the next meeting. The list of outstanding items for discussion and the list of follow-up actions have already been sent to members. The next meeting is scheduled for the 21st of October 2024 between 2:30 and 4:30. Regarding the topics to be discussed, the administration said that they could only propose items for discussion later. The Secretariat will inform members after the administration have done so. Agenda item number 3. The rolling out of patriotic education. Let us first invite the administration to come in. Members who would like to ask questions, please press the button to request to speak. We are going to discuss 2 topics. We expect quite many members would like to ask questions in the second agenda item for discussion, so we need to manage our time well. 12 members have already have requested to speak. In sequence, they are Dr. Hui Simon Lee, Dr. Tik Chi Yun, Mr. Tang Fei, Martin Liao, Kingsley Wong, Tony Tse, Dr. Tan Yue Heng, Professor Chen Wing Kwong, Professor Priscilla Leung, Mr. Yim Kong, Dr. Starry Lee, and Mr. Rock Chan. First of all, I'd like to ask Mr. Eric Zhang, the Secretary for Constitutional and Mainland Affairs, to take us through the papers. Secretary, the floor is yours. Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, members, good afternoon. I'm glad to come to the panel on constitutional affairs to walk you through the rolling out of patriotic education. The Chief Executive stated in the 2023 policy address that patriotic education would be rolled out and under the Constitution and Basic Law Promotion Steering Committee led by the Chief Secretary for Administration, the Working Group on Patriotic Education would be set up in order to take forward patriotic education and national education. This will dovetail with the Patriotic Education Law of the PRC. On different fronts, we will promote national education in order to promote patriotism. In April 2024, the working group was officially set up. In the same month, the first meeting was convened. Clear objectives have been set. That is, to build mainstream values characterized by patriotism with affection for our country and Hong Kong in conformity with the principle of one country, 2 systems, enabling the spirit of patriotism and to take root in society and people's heart. The working group also remarked that it would, having regard to the actual circumstances in Hong Kong, advise on policy measures for effective implementation of patriotic education. Patriotic education is the core of the Chinese people. It has taken root in the heart of the Chinese people. It unites all the Chinese people. Generations will work tirelessly to contribute to the prosperity of the country. We need to respect and pass on the history of the Chinese nation. This is an important condition for the development of the Chinese people. The working group said that we need to adopt a soft approach to allow people of the country to know more about the country. That is, it should be conducted in a soft and heart-moving approach, enhancing their sense of national pride and belonging so that such emotions will sublimate into patriotic sentiments and ultimately they will proactively and consciously love the country and safeguard national sovereignty, security, and development interests. In order to more effectively take forward patriotic education, 4 subgroups have been set up. They will promote patriotic education on 4 different fronts, including school education, local community, history, politics, economic and culture, and media publicity. Concrete measures will be proposed. Through a variety of events and activities, patriotic education would be taken forward in a well-rounded manner. On short-term measures, we will leverage the 75th anniversary of the founding of the PRC as an entry point for organizing National Day celebration activities. There will also be elements of patriotic education to foster people's sense of patriotism in the community and enhance the awareness of patriotism of society. On the one hand, this is in line with Article 10 of the Patriotic Education Law, states that on the 1st of October each year, the National Day of the People's Republic of China, the state and all aspects of society are to organize diverse forms of celebration focusing on carrying out patriotic education. We will also enhance the awareness of patriotism of the whole society. The working group also advised how to incorporate elements of patriotic education to different bureaus and departments within the government, so we can leverage on this opportunity to promote patriotic education. At present, bureaus and departments are preparing for the activities proactively. We want to enhance the understanding of the country among the public. We'd also like to enhance national pride among members of the public. The government will announce the details on the activities and events in due course. Please stay tuned. Patriotic education takes a very long time. There's a wide range of topics involved. Patriotic education also takes place in different forms. So on mid to long-term and sustainable measures, we need to implement sustainable measures. We need to target different groups such as school curriculum, cultural activities, making good use of museum elements, community activities, civil service training, and so on. Between May and June, the working group held different meetings covering topics like school education, local community, history, politics, economic and culture, as well as media publicity. Sustainable measures have been proposed. Please refer to the discussion papers for details. The working group also invited different sectors in the community to put forth their views. The Secretariat is consolidating all the opinions collected and will pass them on to the working group for discussion and analysis. As we underscore on different occasions, for patriotic education to succeed, we need to engage the public. Their efforts are crucial. After all, loving our country and protecting our country are the responsibilities of every single one of us. We need to make every effort for the country to stay prosperous and enjoy the fruits of the prosperity of the country. We will continue to encourage different sectors of the community to organize activities. We can work hand in hand in order to promote the spirit of the Chinese people. We can also promote the national identity, the national perspective, and to foster affection for our country in the community. Together with the HYAB, the CSTB, as well as the ISD, that is Information Services Department, we're glad to hear from members. Any member would like to press the button to request to speak? If not, I'll draw a line right here. A total of 12 members have pressed the button to request to speak. 4 minutes each member. Questions and answers included. Please be succinct. Please also give succinct replies. When time's up, I will invite the next member to speak. First member, Dr. Hui Simon Lee. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Secretary, for your introduction. The rolling out of patriotic education is under the Constitution and Basic Law Promotion Steering Committee. I agree patriotic education is a very broad concept. It covers the Constitution as well as basic law. Education on these topics should be covered as well as history, culture, and so on. I'm quite well up in the committee. I've been a convener for the past 6 years. On teacher and student group, students need to submit a report to the committee. Will you request schools to report to submit another report again, or is there any overlapping of the report? I hope there wouldn't be too much of a burden on schools. That's the first point. The steering committee engages the community as well. Over the last 10 years, with community participation, education on the Constitution and basic law could be taken forward. After the setup of the working group on patriotic education, will there be more resources, or will the funding be the same? With the working group on patriotic education, will there be more resources, or will resources be accorded priority to this working group? I don't want the working group on patriotic education to affect the funding on other subgroups. I also have some comments. In the papers, museums are mentioned. But we need to have vision and the messages to be brought to the audience. It's more than the mere description of events or artifacts. Bureaus and departments have been carrying out quite a lot of work. This requires collaboration and coordination. In the Education Bureau, there's a steering committee on values education. One of the values promoted is the promotion of national identity. The exact wording may not be the same, but it also touches upon patriotic education. Secretary, 1 minute. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Dr. Hui Simon Lee. About the Constitution and Basic Law Promotion Steering Committee, I believe Dr. Lee is very familiar with the committee. It's about the promotion of the Constitution, basic law, and national security education. But now there are two branches, one of which focuses on patriotic education. For these two working groups, regarding the focuses, they are different. So we'll have two separate subgroups. We don't think there will be overlapping, but of course, in the future, if need be, we will make adjustments. Time's up. Time's up. Dr. Tick.
Thank you, Chairman. After hearing the report, we see the SAR has attached importance to patriotic education. And we can see it is a heavy workload. I think it is important that we do a good job so we can examine the issue from quantity and quality perspective. We have so many departments and the community support, so I don't have worries about the quantity. I'm concerned about the outcome. Having a lot of food consumption doesn't mean that there's good absorption. There are so many activities, but how do you assess the comparison between quantity and quality? Now, I hope that we can achieve some profound and effective education. We don't want hard statistics, hard ideology, slogans. So how can we deepen patriotic education? Now, it should come from the heart. Now, we have a lot of activities. Does it really achieve your goal? And I do have two suggestions. First is a sense of attachment, and we need, for example, we like sports winners, activities, and so on. And we also need to instill confidence in one country, two systems. This is all related. So how do we enhance these two aspects? So that gives rise to two questions. How do we assess the quantity? And second, how do we assess the development of these sentiments? I agree with Dr. Tick. If we just push quantity, but if there's no quality, that is not an effective approach. But of course, we need to balance quantity and quality. So while we increase quantity, we also need to enhance quality. And it is because of this, in the past, we have done patriotic education, but now we need to do it comprehensively. We have to consolidate, innovate, and even brainstorm. Now we have a clear purpose. Now, if you really want to differentiate between the hard and soft approach, personally, I don't think there is any difference. Sometimes we need a hard approach, sometimes we need a soft approach. We are working on people's attitudes. So we will be taking this approach. We want people to be aware of our country's achievements, and we want to enhance awareness, sense of belonging, and subsequently there will be some emotional attachment. There will be a heartfelt attachment. It is like feelings for your immediate family. So through this approach, we will be able to achieve this goal. Mr. Tang Fei, I agree with the Secretary. As long as the outcome is favorable, it doesn't matter whether it is hard or soft approach. So I have two questions. First, we have a lot of activities, but we want to highlight the history of the ruling regime. And we also want to have more activities, more education inside the school and outside the school. So I feel when we pursue patriotic education, we want to love the country and love Hong Kong. So Hong Kong went through a colonial history. I'm not just talking about the unequal treaties. I'm talking about the 80s and 90s and even the return of sovereignty. Those were difficult periods. It wasn't smooth sailing. But it seems that the school curriculum doesn't teach a lot of that. We have Sino-British talks, and we're not even talking about the Qing dynasty history. So we need to highlight these historical events. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Tang Fei, for the question. First of all, if you're talking about the ruling regime, the CCP, in the past, because of the social environment, we did not conduct a lot of education on this aspect of the history. But now, after the social unrest, we don't have any more taboos about the ruling party. It is a historical fact, and our Constitution also requires us to have this understanding. So in our upcoming work, given the development of the national state of affairs, the ruling party, the leadership of our party, CCPs, we need to have a correct understanding of the CCP, and we will promote this in our patriotic education. Now, regarding school curriculum, I'll have the Education Bureau colleagues elaborate a little bit. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Tang. Our curriculum will teach the history of the CCP and its impact on the country's development. We will have this in Chinese history curriculum. We also have a civic education curriculum teaching this part of history, so you can rest assured that it will be taught in school. Any supplement? Next, okay, handover. The Sino-British talks during the 80s. It is covered in our history in junior high school. It's covered in Chinese history curriculum. Thank you. Next, Mr. Martin Liao. Patriotic education focus should be on history, economics, and so on. We do have a lot of associations and professionals. They are excellent history educators. They are also a very useful resource. They are also very helpful regarding educators. So I would like to ask, do you have any plans to work with local art groups and so on to help facilitate more communication with the GBA, and we can conduct more cultural exchange, and we can facilitate more experiential interaction with their mainland counterparts. So that's one aspect. The second aspect is our main focus group are students. The government has done a lot of work in this area. We have cultural exchange quotas, so primary students have at least one chance to visit the mainland. Now, in school curriculum, we also have patriotic education curriculum. So when we promote patriotic education work, the focus is on youth education. So the use of popular social media is very important. So I want to ask, does the government have any plans to mobilize youth to help them serve as facilitators and conveyors of this message? Thank you, Mr. Liao. Coming back to history and social history, we do have some excellent heritage educators. This is an important part of our work, and because of this, in our preliminary patriotic education working group, we have 4 subgroups, and one group is exactly history, economics, and social history. So the first 2 subgroups, they work on they work with associations and groups. Now on history, the economy and social activities, we work with a lot of local associations, local bodies. So when it comes to promoting policy or conducting activities, we need to work with these patriotic groups. We discuss with them how to promote our message. We also encourage these bodies to conduct relevant activities. As I said just now, this is a joint effort. Aside from the government, we also have to rely on community participation. Regarding our youth work, as President Xi said, the young people are the pillar of our country. They need to participate in our public affairs. They also can pursue a career in politics. So we encourage them and also want to nurture them to have this experience. Mr. Kingsley Wong, I agree with the working group strategy. We need to make reference to the conditions of Hong Kong. For example, we had worker strikes 100 years ago, and during the Japanese resistance, we also had participation in guerrilla warfare and so on. I also recall there were some 40 Hong Kong workers who participated in the guerrilla warfare, and only a handful of them returned to Hong Kong. We also have the 8th Route Army representatives in Hong Kong. We also had Hong Kong people who helped ship resources back to the mainland. So we do have a lot of local history, local heritage. So Hong Kong's patriotic efforts should be highlighted. We have a lot of historical stories. We need to deploy these resources. So aside from sharing these on the mainland, has the government considered organizing this information and package it and convey this message? Now, I also want to remind the government that in 1949 we had some events. We also have civil aviation history. When we celebrate our history, can we also highlight Hong Kong's role? So patriotic education, we have a lot of heritage and stories related to Hong Kong. So our younger generation needs to learn about that and have a better understanding.
Secretary, Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Kingsley Wong, for your questions and suggestions. Indeed, we all know well that Hong Kong has a lot of stories about our wars against aggression and so on. Hong Kong is rich in these resources. Regarding how we can make good use of these resources, when it comes to the implementation of policies and the proposal of the working group, we have already fully factored in these factors. For example, we need to organize more cultural activities focused on red culture, making good use of museum resources, many ceremonies such as those about the wars against Japanese aggression. We need to promote these patriotism efforts. We need to allow the public and students to feel the vibes, to understand the historical context, to understand the history that Hong Kong has gone through. We want to enhance a sense of belonging among the public. That's what we have been striving to do. Thank you. Next member, Mr. Tong Ni-che. Thank you, Chairman. As a Chinese, of course, I fully support patriotic education. In the past, we could have devoted more efforts. For the 4 subgroups under the Working Group on Patriotic Education, I have some comments to make. First of all, school education is crucial. Teacher influences students, so we need to focus on teachers. If teachers do not have a correct understanding or they are not sincere enough, they will directly affect the outcome of patriotic education. I also underscore the importance of parent education. Teachers and parents have a profound impact on children. Next, on local community, the HYAB, Home Affairs Department, Uniform Groups, Klansmen Association, all these are involved. Well, I think the housing department should be covered as well. Over 2 million or so members of the public live in public housing estates. Hanging national flags, for example, it's said to be not allowed given the fact that we need to be neutral in terms of politics. We need to enhance our efforts in this regard. When it comes to media publicity, for those that have an ulterior motive, they are no longer seen in Hong Kong. There are many unfair comments against Hong Kong. There are also some video clips that are against Hong Kong. We need to think twice whether this information is correct or not. Sometimes there may be honest mistakes, so the public do not receive correct information. Can we provide training to friends from the media? The media have a profound impact on society. We may want to provide training to them. Secretary. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Tong Ni-che, for your comments. Of course, we'll definitely study the comments given by Mr. Tong Ni-che. His comments are indeed very good. We'll humbly consider his comments. Regarding the inclusion of the housing department and so on, I'd like to emphasize there are currently 4 subgroups, but in fact, Our work is not limited to these 4 directions. Patriotic education is taken forward by all policy bureaus and departments, including housing departments or even the industrial, commercial sectors as well as the technology sector in the community. We need to work hand in hand. Patriotic education won't be successful without the concerted efforts of the government covering different policy bureaus. So rest assured, Mr. Tong Ni-tse. Next, Dr. Tan Yue-heng. Thank you, Chairman. These 2 years, on many different fronts, such as secondary and primary schools, patriotic education has borne fruits. School education is the first subgroup among the other 3 subgroups. School education should be on the front burner. In kindergartens, children form their values. Teachers are also the focus. Do teachers have the concept of patriotism? On the training of patriotic education among teachers, has it been completed? Do all teachers have the qualifications to educate children or students in this connection? Hong Kong is a multicultural metropolitan city, whether permanent residents or not. Not all of them are Chinese. Some of them come from other places around the world. So when we implement patriotic education, we should provide different activities to different races or ethnicities. For example, for major celebrations such as those about the National Day, do we have the awareness to cater for the need for the people from different places? Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Dr. Tan, for your questions. First of all, on schools, we fully agree that teachers play a very important role. And we need to, through teachers, promote patriotic education well. So the first subgroup is exactly school education. Teachers played the most important role. I wouldn't say we have already completed the training. The process is actually a very long process. We keep making enhancements. We keep improving. That's what we do. Through good teacher training and good teachers' qualifications, we want to implement patriotic education in various schools. In schools on different levels, we want to educate students on patriotic education. Regarding the fact that Hong Kong is a multicultural metropolitan city, have we considered non-Chinese students? Yes, definitely. Equal opportunities are the basis of an inclusive society. It's a core value of the Hong Kong government. So whatever work we do, we take care of citizens in Hong Kong of different races. We take care of their needs. We cater for their needs. We also help them understand the achievement of our country. We hammer home this message, this concept, to members of the public as well. Next, Professor Chen Wen-kong. Thank you, Chairman. I agree that the government adopts a multi-pronged approach on promoting patriotic education. I agree, especially that patriotic education is all about working on people's hearts and feelings and should be conducted in a soft and heart-moving approach. But we shouldn't focus on the format of the activities. For example, people take a group photo, they have a banner, but these acts alone cannot promote patriotic education. So I'd like to ask the administration, in the course of promoting patriotic education, how can we make sure the effect is, the activities do achieve the effect. I'd led students to Sichuan for an exchange, and the result was very good. Many Hong Kong people go north for spending or consumption after the epidemic. When members of the public visit Shenzhen or go north, they can see the achievement or the development of the country. So will the administration make good use of this opportunity to promote patriotism when people of Hong Kong go north for spending, for consumption, so that we can foster patriotism among members of the public? Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Professor Chan. First of all, I'd like to respond to patriotic education activities. They can be delivered in a diversified manner. All methods that can promote patriotic education effectively are good methods. Some may be slogans, but as long as the activities serve the purpose, they are worth implementing. So I won't say any particular format is not good. On promoting patriotic education, I agree that they should be diversified. They may be slogans. They may be conducted in another manner, but we need to see the targets, and then we need to choose suitable media in order to promote patriotic education. Once again, I emphasize, apart from hard facts or knowledge about patriotic education, we do want to enhance the sense of belonging as well as national pride. That's what we want to promote. So patriotic education should be promoted in a diversified manner. Regarding collaboration with mainland China, there's GBA Cultural Arts Festival. In 11 cities in the GBA, including Hong Kong, we organize over 100 activities. All of these events are very successful. The Education Bureau, the Culture, Sports and Tourism Bureau work in conjunction with mainland authorities to promote patriotic education, and that contributed to the success of these events. Next, Professor Priscilla Leung. Thank you, Chairman. This April, the government set up the Working Group on Patriotic Education. I'm pleased to learn that. I was the chairperson on promoting patriotic education and national security, or national education. Mr. Stanley Ng was the deputy chairman. We compiled the report. First of all, on primary schools, secondary schools, and universities. There are also professions as well as universities. And community. We drew reference from Singapore. They have set some indicators. In primary schools, we focus on emotions and feelings. In secondary schools, we focus on knowledge. The more knowledge they have, the greater sense of belonging and national identity or pride they have. At university, we expect university students to lead the community. When we have set these KPIs,
tell the facts that there are double standards and how we will deal with it. This is a vaccine, and it will put people on the alert to defamation and other forms of untrue criticisms. Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Chan Yong. Thank you. The CS, as part of the China delegation, had participated in the UNHCR. It indicates the central government's support for Hong Kong. You can see that in the U.S., we have done a better job in my functional constituents, we, aside from telling the truth, we want our foreign friends to have a better understanding of Hong Kong. We have visa-free access, and we need to use these opportunities and platforms to encourage people to visit Hong Kong firsthand themselves. The CS can also tell us what future plans you have in your next round of work. There were 120 out of 160 countries at the UNHCR who had confirmed China's efforts. In document number 5, there could CS help elaborate the contents of that document? Well, it is a periodic review every 4.5 years, and on the next occasion in 4.5 years' time, there will be another review. And during the interim period, there's a lot of work to be done. Hong Kong has to do its job so that on the next occasion, in the next review, the human rights in China and Hong Kong will improve, and we receive further confirmation. The majority of countries at the UNHCR had agreed with our efforts and commended our efforts. A lot of the representatives had congratulated us on our achievements. Now, as a matter of fact, we will scrutinize the documents and we will go through the wording. So when we choose accept or not accept the report, it's not a matter of accept or not accept. We have to elaborate our position. We will explain why we don't accept. We want to prevent misunderstanding. So during the scrutiny, we will take extra steps to be very careful because it's a historic document and we wish to explain our position very carefully. Mr. Lei Jiankang. Thank you, Chairman. First of all, I have to thank CS for speaking up to explain the true situation of Hong Kong and China at the UNHCR, at the UNHRC. So, did the CS bring some slides and PowerPoint with him and we have a lot of upcoming mega events, and we will be gifted with some pandas in the coming future. So grassroots efforts are also very important. We have a lot of internet celebrities who are witnessing our economic achievements, and whether it is YouTube or other internet platforms, they are telling the China story. So have you considered using the social media? So could you leave messages on their blogs? Could you invite them to visit Hong Kong? When they visit Hong Kong, they will find out for themselves that nothing has changed in Hong Kong. People are going about their business. For example, yesterday, during even when the temperatures were so hot, people still conducted horse racing. So people can have a better understanding of Hong Kong through these visits. Well, we also take note that there is slandering or false accusations of Hong Kong. So they have a political agenda, and they attract audience support by spreading false information. Now, we have a different approach. We want to improve our economic development, but other countries disregard inflation, they disregard unemployment. They just want to be voted into office. So we just need visitors to come to Hong Kong, the GBA, to see for themselves the real situation. And we can tell the rest of the world that Hong Kong is the pearl of the Orient and that we are prosperous. Thank you, Chairman. I agree with what you say. Actually, the West has an agenda. They want to suppress the motherland's development via suppressing Hong Kong. I think our best defense, as you said, if we do a good job, it is recognized. If you don't do a good job, it is for everybody to be seen as well. Now, there were 120 plus countries that confirmed our efforts. If you visit the mainland, you can see the economic development. You can see for your own eyes their sense of achievement. You understand that we now have visa-free access for 144 hours. That is very effective. So when more overseas friends visit the mainland, you can see a lot of foreign friends who have been to China. They will say that it is different from what they had previously understood. It is very advanced. It's not as what the media says. It is the same for Hong Kong. We want to attract more overseas friends to visit. We have mega events. We have more than 200 activities and events, one every 2 days. And in the future, in the Kai Tak stadium will commence operations, and people can see for themselves or whether Hong Kong is as the media portrays. So, thank you, Chairman. Mr. Yim Gong. We have to thank CS for attending the LegCo meeting. The G19 members, including myself, we had expressed our support for the CS and the China delegation, and we have expressed our displeasure with the unbased claims and slander. So, in order to strengthen the rule of law, I wish to make 4 suggestions. The first is we need more central government support, and we need the UN and other international organizations' support to help us tell the Hong Kong story. Our LegCo members can help do this job. We need to invite more experts, friendly experts to visit Hong Kong, and the experts can help us speak up regarding the benefits of our common law system. We also need to run exhibitions regarding our change from chaos to stability and stability to prosperity. Now, of course, the UN has a limited speaking time of 5 minutes only, but it is similar to LegCo and where they have a 5-minute speaking time. So, as other colleagues said, could we have better use of our side meetings to help promote Hong Kong? So, thank you for suggestions, for your consideration. So, time's up, and the last item is AOB. We don't have AOB. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.